Yo guys, what is good? It's your boy Jamong here back again with another video, and today we're going over 5 unpopular opinions on sneakers. So when it comes to the sneaker community and the culture of it, usually trends begin when something is really popular and everyone just kind of jumps on it, and this is ultimately called hype. Now, hype has been around for many decades by now. No matter what is nice or what's ugly, if something is in style at that time, everyone is going to hop on this bandwagon. You know, hype is when a certain style or a certain sneaker was ugly 5 years ago, but now someone brought it back and everyone is just jumping on this bandwagon, and people are basically lining up outside of stores, making sure that they cop this item, and it's almost something that's impossible to get. Now, I for one have caught myself jumping on the hype of a lot of things. However, I've also kind of developed my own preferences and opinions as a sneakerhead within the last couple of years. There are sneakers that are really hyped that a lot of people love that I'm personally just not a big fan of. And you know what, because a lot of people are a fan of these certain styles and aesthetics, there is bound to be a lot of disagreement. So in this video, I'm going over 5 unpopular opinions that I personally have about sneakers, and I know for a fact that many of you guys are probably going to disagree with me, and that's alright because we all are entitled to our own opinions. So if you guys do disagree with me, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. But of course, let's make sure that we keep this positive. You know, let's be respectful here, okay? But again, as a disclaimer, there are definitely going to be some unpopular opinions that may seem triggering. So that's your warning. With that being said, these are my 5 unpopular sneaker opinions. Let's hop into it. All right, the first unpopular opinion that I have on sneakers is that Foamposites are actually really ugly. I know for a fact that many of you guys that grew up in the 90s are going to attack me for this. Personally, for me, I don't even really care how hype the Foamposites are. I know the story behind it. Just the aesthetic and the silhouette of the Nike Foamposites are, I don't know, it's just not something that I would like to wear. Foamposites are just really chunky, and they definitely look like they're like big clumps on your feet. Personally, for me, if I were to wear these with pants, I would have a lot of trouble matching them with whatever I have on my body. I will have to give them credit though, because they did bring back the Galaxy Foamposites a while back, and those are actually nice. I feel like I really like Galaxy print, but nevertheless, still, the whole entire shoe does not appear to be wearable in my opinion. Now, let me know if you guys are a big fan of the Foamposites. Is this something that you can wear and purposely mismatch your outfits with? I usually like to complement my clothes with my sneakers, but this is something that I feel like really cannot go well with them. You know, I even remember seeing them in middle school when they were at a high. I saw a lot of middle schoolers wearing these, and I just thought like they definitely look like more on the basketball end rather than lifestyle sneakers. So personally, I don't really like the Foamposites at all. I don't see the hype with them. I'm sorry, but yeah, that's my first unpopular opinion. All right, my second unpopular opinion on sneakers is that the OnCloud sneakers are just not that comfortable. Now, I know many of you guys have watched my videos, and every single video I'm basically hyping up a pair of OnCloud shoes. I mean, of course, the OnCloud sneakers are a comfortable sneaker. They're something that you should definitely check out, and I love the aesthetic of certain silhouettes. Now, I did end up trying on a pair of OnCloud tilts at Foot Locker, and don't get me wrong, they were definitely comfortable. However, I thought the overall experience was a little underwhelming. And what I mean by this is that I think that a lot of YouTubers, including me, have hyped up a lot of OnCloud sneakers such as the Cloud Tilts, and they are supposedly one of the most comfortable sneakers to own in 2025. And yes, they are a comfortable sneaker, but I thought that when I tried them on, I thought I would literally feel like I'm squishing into the ground, because that's how it typically looks with the midsole. So again, the OnCloud Tilts are a really comfortable sneaker, and I definitely think you should try them out. However, I thought that a lot of people kind of overhyped it to make it seem like this was the next innovation that was better than a lot of sneakers out there. You know, after owning a pair of Hoka's and New Balance sneakers, it just wasn't anything new in my collection, so that's why I really didn't need it at that moment. So if you're looking for a really comfortable pair of sneakers and you don't have any in your collection at all, I definitely suggest hopping on. However, if you are a runner and you already have pairs of Hoka's, you have Adidas Ultra Boost, you have New Balance sneakers, you could pretty much save yourself on a pair of Ons. Yeah, I think that is just overall like a comfortable sneaker, but it's nothing new that we have seen in the sneaker community. So I'm really surprised that I'm giving this as an unpopular opinion. I thought I was team OnCloud all the way. However, I just think that they're not as comfortable as they seem. All right, my third unpopular opinion when it comes to sneakers is that Nike just needs to stop bringing back the old colorways. I think Nike is honestly doing the most right now when they continue to retro their older colorways, especially the really popular ones. So right now in 2025, we've already seen so many older colorways, such as the Breads that released, the Black Toes. We're gonna see a UNC pair, the Shattered Backboards are coming back, and all of these older colorways that were once hype on the sneaker market are now being brought back. And a lot of people like them because this is a second chance that they're getting from missing out on the first pair. Okay, let me backtrack here. It's not even the hype, but it's the passion and the beauty of just buying sneakers in general. You know, I think a huge part about being a sneakerhead is that there are sneakers that are hard to get, but for the fact that you're able to get them despite its limited availability, that's what makes a sneaker special. But when Nike is re-releasing so many older colorways, it's just kind of devaluing the meaning of why they are beautiful to begin with. I mean, I'm really not one to base a sneaker off of its popularity or hype, but take the Jordan 1 Black Toes, for example. Back in 2017, this was going for about $800. And again, don't take it for the price, but back in 2017, if you went out wearing a pair of Black Toes and no one else could have gotten a pair, no one else is wearing one, that's what made the sneaker feel special. That's what made you feel special. You know, it was the idea of being unique and being different from everybody else. But now they've re-released the Black Toes with this reimagined take, and pretty much everybody, even like middle school kids, are wearing a pair of Black Toe Jordan 1s. At that point, are you really that special? Do you feel unique when you're wearing this sneaker? Again, yes, I love the sneaker because it's red, it describes and defines me, but again, I want something that not a lot of other people have. And again, this is what is happening when they keep re-releasing so many older colorways. And don't get me wrong, I do love the Chicago colorway and the UNC colorway as much as the next guy. But I think what Nike should be doing is that they should be brainstorming on new color scheme and color patterns. You know, I want to go on Instagram and I want to see the newest sneaker release with the newest take on a colorway, and I want to say, hey, that's a sneaker that I haven't seen before, I want to cop that next. But instead, all we're seeing are previous colorways just being retroed, and it's kind of being overdone. You know, I think sneakerheads need to learn how to be unique. All right, and my fourth unpopular opinion on sneakers is that the Adidas Ultra Boost is probably the best sneaker of all time. Now, this one is going to spark a lot of comments and disagreements, but let me just say, I firmly believe that Ultra Boost is in my top 5 best sneakers of all time. Now, the Adidas Ultra Boost made its first debut in either, was it 2015 or 2016? It was somewhere in that time. Basically, it was honestly an alternative to the Nike Roshe runs. At that time, a lot of people were wearing the Roshes, and then Adidas came out with their own runner, and this one was far more comfortable than the Roshes. Now, the only thing was that they retailed for over twice the amount of the Roshe runs. Instead of $70, they started retailing for $180. That's because their quality and material were that good. And since then, there has been a lot of iterations of the Adidas Ultra Boost, but I honestly have to go with the true Ultra Boost 1.0s. Now, in my opinion, this has to be one of the best sneakers that we have seen in the 21st century. Now, a lot of people ask me what's my favorite sneaker of all time, and that's easy. I'm always going to say it's the Spider-Man Jordan 1s. However, if there was a sneaker that I would wear every single day for the rest of my life, it would have to go to the Adidas Ultra Boost. There are a lot of comfortable sneakers out there right now. Again, I've already mentioned them. Hoka's, we have New Balances, we have Ons. However, I think that when it comes to all the runners, I think that the true reigning champion belongs to the Ultra Boost. And this is a classic. Now, this basically came out before any of the newer innovations within the last couple of years. And the Ultra Boosts are just such a comfortable sneaker. You can run in them, but you can also just wear them for lifestyle, and it literally just feels like you are walking on a bed of clouds. I love Boost technology, and I have not really seen another innovation that has beat this so far. Yes, there are sneakers with a high stack and a lot of cushioning, but sometimes the durability of them are just not that great. But when it comes to the Ultra Boost, it kind of has everything in one. You know, it's not so far off the ground where you feel like you're slipping, and the cushioning, the boost on this is just so soft. I can wear this all day and just not feel tired. And plus, I think the thing that a lot of people are not talking about when it comes to the Ultra Boost 1.0s is that they're just so versatile. Like, look at how minimal the aesthetic of it is. But just as a sneaker, this is something that you can pretty much wear on any occasion. I remember back in 2017, people were wearing skinny jeans, zipper pants with these. And even nowadays, you could even wear them with baggy cargo pants. So this is something that, despite it being kind of less popular today because of how much has released, I think the 1.0s truly are the best sneaker that has released so far. Now, you can say that Jordan 1s are the best sneaker of all time. You can say that the Air Force 1s are. You can even say that Yeezys are the best sneaker of all time. However, there is nothing that is as comfortable and as minimal looking and as versatile as the Adidas Ultra Boost. Now, there was a time, I believe it was like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, where I had like 5 different colorways of the Ultra Boost in my collection. And obviously I had to kind of narrow it down a little bit. I just didn't need all that. But the cream colorway, this is my number 2 sneaker of all time, but I would truly wear this every day because it's gonna match with every single outfit that I paired this with. Yeah, and I'm for one a huge fan of the 1.0 model, but even if I had to settle for the 2.0s, 3s, or 4s, even if I had to go over to the Ultra Boost Lights, this is just probably the best sneaker that you can get. And the sad thing is that I feel like nowadays it just doesn't get the amount of love that it deserves. And that takes me on to my last and final unpopular opinion on sneakers, and that is the 2016-2017 era was the best years for sneakers. Now, this was the best era to be a sneakerhead in. People were lining up outside of stores, waking up at 4 a.m., even spending the night throughout at Foot Locker, making sure that they're able to snag a W on the latest Jordan drop. People were basically fighting one another to secure a pair, and this was just a huge wave of hype. Now, on top of that, there was also a huge trend with streetwear. People were rocking distressed denim, zipper denim, oversized hoodies, elongated shirts, and I love that style so much. Now, even though I've kind of moved on from that since then, there's still a part of me that still feels connected to it. And let's say if we just woke up tomorrow and everyone just started wearing everything from 2016 all over again, I'd jump on that in a heartbeat. I do love the idea of like relaxed and slim fitting pants. I like the comfortability of wearing oversized stuff, but at that time, the 2016, the whole fitted look, that looks so fire. I would definitely go back to that. Even like the whole Chelsea boot era, wearing like skinny jeans with Chelsea boots and then wearing something dressy on top, that looks so fire. I miss that so much. But back to sneakers, this was a time when Yeezys were on the rise, when Jordan 1s were popular, Ultra Boosts were a huge thing. Jerry Lorenzo and Kanye West were just huge influential figures in the sneaker community. Now, we saw pictures of these guys rocking Ultra Boosts, Y3s, Chelsea boots, Jordan 1s, Yeezys, even Nike Yeezys, and all of these were just the best time. Now, I just remember back when I was in high school and you saw someone coming in wearing a pair of Yeezys, even the blue tints, they were the coolest person in the room immediately. This was because no one could get a pair of Yeezys without having to do a little extra work, either waiting online or having the right connections. But these were going for hundreds of dollars on the market. And I go back to my same point. This is what made being a sneakerhead cool at the time. You were unique, no one had what you had, and you felt special. And I think that's what is missing nowadays in the sneaker community. Everyone is able to go into Foot Locker, everyone is able to go into Finish Line and just cop the same sneakers. It doesn't matter, who they are, what pay grade they're in. Everyone from their kids to their mothers to their grandmothers wearing the same sneakers, and it just loses that spark. I really, really miss 2016 and 2017. That was when I really kind of found my passion to be a sneakerhead. Obviously, I couldn't afford a lot of what I have at that time. It wasn't until maybe 2019 when things started kind of taking a little bit of a dip. That's when I finally got into sneakers. But I really, really wish I was a little older and had a little more spending power back in 2016 so that I could enjoy what everyone else was hyping about. But yup, I've rambled long enough, and here are 5 unpopular opinions that I have on sneakers. Now, I'd like to hear from you guys. What is an unpopular opinion that you have on sneakers? Is there a certain silhouette or aesthetic that is really popular that you just absolutely hate? Let me know in the comments down below. And again, if there was anything that you disagreed with, let me know in the comments. but let's be respectful, all right? And as always, if you guys liked the video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you guys want to hear more from me, smash the subscribe button because more will be on the way. Again, these are 5 unpopular sneaker opinions, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.